Hey again. I'm finally looking at the camera as I start. Let's see if I can get away with not editing this one. Whoop, whoop, ha. Okay, so hi guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody's doing well. So I wanted to continue with how it came about that I wanted to be a life coach. So we've already heard about Kenny and how he really opened the door that I wanted to do something much more fulfilling for my career. Not that I didn't have a rewarding career, I did. It wasn't fulfilling me on the level that I needed, and it's still hard for me to really come up with the words like. So I would have a sense of accomplishment at the end of winning like a really critical or competitive deal, or really helping a customer who was unhappy and turning it around so that things were working again. But I kept thinking like that was just so small that, yeah, I was helping their work life feel better. But at that point in time, like I didn't really fully embrace how much our work life really impacts our overall life, despite the fact that I was witnessing for myself this feeling that was missing because my job wasn't as fulfilling as I wanted it to be. That still wasn't getting me to click and be like, oh, even if I'm helping people's work life, I'm helping their overall life. It was like, no, I want to help them in life, not in work, which is ridiculous. So life just kept continuing to throw me things over and over again. So I moved out to Colorado. And that was when pretty much all of my avoidance and my stress and everything else really just hit me in the face. And by hit me in the face, I mean knocked me on my ass for a couple of years and rendered me disabled. Now, part of that was also due to the fact that I was a skydiver and I really wasn't good at landing. But I want to point out that there was a 6-year difference between my initial injury that I'm going to need surgery for later this year. We'll get to that later. And when it actually started to bother me to a point to do something about it. And the difference in those 6 years is that I did nothing to check my stress. Nothing. And I mean, like I would work out, but I made working out so competitive with myself that it really wasn't a stress reliever because I was stressing myself out to keep pushing myself. And it's so funny when I go back to it. And like, that's one of the things I realized is I just recently moved cross country again. I was like, my God, like I really do make things harder than they need to be. And I don't want to keep doing that. But anyway, so I hadn't checked my stress. And what happened with me is a combination of old injuries, along with letting stress do whatever the hell it wanted to my body, put me into a state of chronic pain. So I had bad knees, still have bad knees, although one of them's been replaced already. But the amount of limping I had to do, and I was really uneven for a while. So the amount of limping that I had to do really made my back a lot worse. And in hindsight, I'm shocked that I went as long as I did because the injuries are pretty severe. But again, it's pain isn't always a one-to-one. Like I've heard the craziest stories about that too. But again, that's another video. One of the things you'll notice about me is I'm so excited about so many ideas and everything that I'm doing that a lot of times I'll get ahead of myself. But going back to focusing on becoming a coach and how I focused on stress and pain. So I took what I have learned about what happened to me from not checking my stress, how that led into pain, and really started to look at areas where I could help. And we all know sales is really stressful, right? So in the meantime, as I'm trying to figure out where I want to focus on coaching, I started to do coaching school. I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't finished yet. I don't have my certificate. That is going to change in 2021. But right now, and this is my cat playing off to the side, so I apologize for the noise. We'll just take a little break and look at him because he is just the best. There's my little poo-poots. And then we got Squishy sitting next to me here. So just to show you guys what's going on. So I apologize for that noise. Anyway, going back to how I focused on being pain and stress, I looked at what I'd done in my own life, what I hadn't done, and how that led me to where I was. And one of the things that they said in coaching school is you are probably going to wind up in the area you're most resistant. So the places I was most resistant was to being in corporate and being in the job that I was actually in. it didn't even occur to me that I could slightly change directions, still have some familiarity, and start to coach in a different function format, really. So I took a different job at Cisco, still same title and everything, but I was in much more of an enablement role, sitting in the background trying to help my team. And at that point, I was so burned out. I was actually, I hadn't even done medical leave yet. But I switched over into more of an enablement role, which was a lot less stressful. And then in 2019, Cisco laid me off, which gave me the opportunity to start to coach full time as an enablement coach for a company called Agari. And what we do at Agari is very targeted and advanced anti-phishing. Like the type of attacks, those business email compromise and all those headlines that you see in the news all the time, that's our focus. Like the people who are getting breached in email, those are the ones that we're focusing on. And what's awesome is that the technology works. It's really, really helpful. But we have a harder selling model. And so it's giving me this opportunity to really dive in on the sales enablement side. And it's really helping me link what salespeople are going through, which leads to stress, which leads to some of these long-term chronic health conditions like chronic pain. So that is how I got focused. And we actually have more on the health side too, but that's basically your gist of how I got here. And please look for some of my other videos specific to my journey that I've gone through for my own health. Thank you guys as always for watching. Have a great day.